Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Vertesia. We're continuing on from a past video. To catch you up to speed, if this is the first video you're watching, what we're doing is we are uploading three completely different documents to the Vertesia platform, and then we're giving an agent a very broad task to analyze these documents. Now, in the last video, we actually uploaded the documents and ran the agent. So in this video, what I want to do is walk you through the process that the agent went through. Okay, so just to quickly recap, this was the prompt that we gave it. We purposefully gave it a very, very broad task to see how it would think about the problem. So the first thing the agent did over here on the right, you can see step by step what the agent's doing. First thing it did was it analyzed the tools that it had access to. The next step was it made sure that it understood the request. Now, if it didn't understand the request, it would actually come back to the user and ask a question. But in this case, it was clear on what I was asking it. It then identified the relevant tools that it needed to use. And then it generated a step-by-step plan. Okay, so you can see that step-by-step plan here. So just like a human would, it thought about what it needs to do to achieve this task, and then it started to do those things step by step. Okay. Now, as it goes through, it's going to update the plans and the task and mark them as completed. So the first thing it did was it searched in the repository for the documents. It found 3 relevant documents, and it started at a high level, understanding what the names of the documents are. Okay. And then what it did was it actually analyzed each document in detail to understand the contents of the document. And you'll see a little bit of what it found here. Now, scrolling down a little bit more, it moved on to task 3, which was identifying relationships between these documents. So you can see it thought through what these potential relationships could be for these documents. Now, if you remember, these documents are not related at all. They're from different companies and completely different departments. Okay. Now, scrolling down a little bit more, we're going to see that it took everything it did and generated an analysis in a report that we can view. Okay, so if we come all the way to the bottom, you're going to see a summary of what the agent did. And what I want to do now is I want to click on the document it created. So here's the report. Let's go ahead and download this in Word so it's a little more readable. So let's just go through this real quickly and see what the agent came up with. So it essentially starts with an executive summary, and it understands these are 3 distinct documents spanning different business functions: banking, insurance, and marketing. It also noticed there are no explicit references between documents. Okay, so it understands, just like a human would, that these documents, although they're in the same repository, don't seem to have any relation. And then it actually infers the relation later on, so we'll get to that in a second. Now, looking at the content, it essentially decided that the purpose of the document would be relevant. It identified key information that would be relevant and core content that would be relevant. It also went ahead and identified a target audience for this, right? So this really kind of lets you understand how these agents are thinking through this, because again, we didn't ask for the target audience. We didn't ask for core content, right? We just said analyze the documents. So you can see it did that for each of the 3 documents. And then what's really interesting is when the agent actually comes up with some potential relationships for these, right? So it identified that although these are unrelated, there is a commonality that they're all from the same year. It understood that they're from completely different business entities, right? It says no explicit connection between these entities are documented. And then it actually goes ahead and says, here are some potential relationships. Okay, it could be a business ecosystem, it could be some sort of business transition, or it could be documents related to portfolio management, right? So it could be some sort of company that owns these companies in the portfolio. And then it went ahead and offered recommendations. Again, we didn't ask for recommendations. This is what it did on its own. So again, this is very, very impressive that these agents can autonomously go through a task like this and generate something that looks like human quality, if not better, at least if I'm the human, and really understand what we're asking of it, even without giving it explicit details. And that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the demo. If you are interested in seeing a demo for yourself or have a specific use case you'd like us to consider, feel free to reach out at vertesiahq.com.